everybody, welcome back to the Driveway Engineer, and today I'm working on the prepper cycle. To start with, I want to go over, I got some parts in, and I want to go over, some of the setbacks and ordinary kind of things you're going to encounter on projects. I feel like people nowadays don't really cover this. I know we all watch reality TV, we watch American Chopper, whatever, and their stuff goes together the first time and it fires up the first time and everything's great and all is well and they're so happy, but that's not reality. Not for me anyway, and probably not for you. So, don't get discouraged, when these things happen. But I've had a few setbacks, so let me cover those, and then we'll cover the new parts I got, and I'll show you how I'm going to deal with these setbacks. The first one I may have showed you before, that the shock mounting stud was broken off on this side. So in order to cope with that, I went to the guys at Dime City Cycles and I got a pair of their universal shock mounts. Okay, and these are nice. They're solid 1-inch round OD stock, and they turned them down to 13.5 millimeters here and tapped them for a 6mm bolt in the end. They gave me a sticker, which was nice. They actually wrote a personal note here on the order, which was nice. It's a nice touch. People don't necessarily do that. I was impressed. Bear with me here. I'm standing too close to my heater and I'm catching on fire. So, let me scoot this back before I die. Alright, so I bought these. I ground the other ones out of the frame like you saw in the other video. I'm probably just going to cut that off and leave it hanging. And the problem was that these holes from the factory, on the Suzuki GS at least, are a good deal smaller than 1 inch. So I had to drill them out to 1 inch. And the only thing I had to do that with was a step bit. This is, see how it leads to a whole can of worms? I had a step bit. Unfortunately, the problem with step bits is you can't go through anything thick without going up to the next size. So that step bit was larger than 1 inch, and I can't fit my drill in this space to drill these out from the inside, so I needed another drill bit. Which brings me to my next new part. Well, one of my new parts. I already opened all these and played with them. So if you like unboxing videos, this isn't a very good one. So, after monkeying around and trying to decide and decipher, did I want to buy a 1-inch drill bit that I'm literally never going to use again in my life? I found this step bit that actually maxes out at 1 inch. So, hopefully I can go ahead and run that all the way through the frame, through both sides, and have my 1-inch hole for my Dime City mounts. Okay. Up next, I got a saddle here, a seat. I went with dark. I'm going to unwrap this real quick because it's in like a shower cap kind of cover, so I can put it back on. So this is going to stay out here in the garage. I'll have a link to this in my Amazon below, as I am an Amazon affiliate, and that does, it helps me a little bit if you guys buy stuff that I also have bought. So that's going to go on there, something like that. Obviously these brackets are going to have to go. I don't have my hoop yet, so I can't quite tell where to make my cut, but I can get at least a rough idea of how this is going to look. So that makes me happy and brings me up to my next setback, which is my petcock in my tank. I was going to tear this all down and see, that's how your new sink gets messed up. I was going to tear this all down, rebuild the petcock, do the fuel sensor, blah, 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 do the evaporust or electrolysis or whatever in the tank. But this bolt is, the nut inside of it is stripped off, or whatever's inside there. If it's threaded, the threads are ripped out. If there's a rib nut or something, it's just spinning. It's not coming off. Rather than deal with all the dangers associated with, shit. There's another setback. I'll burst into flames here. Alright, so like I was saying before I got so rudely interrupted, and believe it or not, I left this tank sitting outside just like that for like 4 days, and nothing came out of it. And of course, the instant I do it right in front of my heater, a bunch of crap comes out of it. So anyway, you know, rather than trying to cut this open and braze something to, you know, like, it's a tank, I don't want to do it explode in my face, you know, I'm going to have to replace this tank. So, since factory tanks are like $200 on eBay, what I'm going to do is buy some kind of universal tank that, you know, maybe fits with this cafe type saddle a little better, and go from there. So that's my second setback. You know, a petcock cost me $100. Like I said, I know on TV that, you know, everything goes right. They get all their parts in on time. You know, somebody shows up and wants to give them $8 million if they can do it in the next 24 minutes. But that's just not reality. It's just not real life. It's just not the way it's going to go, you know. You can't get discouraged. You got to keep on keeping on and push through. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and clean this up here and get this tank back out of here. My wife wants it for like wall art for her antique booth or something like that. But that's my next setback, is I'm going to have to buy another tank, a $100 tank that wasn't in the budget. But it is what it is. So moving on. Alright, so next up on my parts list is new fork seals, which I got from All Balls. I don't know why I got them right now. I don't need them right now. I got excited and started buying parts without a plan, and now I have these. It'll probably get lost before I'm ready to use them, because I'm going to want to do springs in the front end also. So I don't know which type, but some type of springs going in the front. Which brings me up to where we are today and what I'm going to work on today. Even though you guys are going to be on a time lapse, I am going to, at the very least, get these mounts right here off the frame and get those holes drilled out to 1 inch so that I can fit these Dime City Cycle mounts. Now, like I said, this is not a slight against them. These are universal parts, and what that means is they universally don't fit anything specifically. So you have to do your own fit up. You have to do your own work with universal parts. It's just the way it is. I've got my stock shock here. Oh, the other downside obstacle is that the eyelet on this Suzuki GS shock is 12.5 millimeters. And the diameter here are 12 millimeters. I'm sorry, it's exactly 12 millimeters, and the diameter here is 13.5. So, I don't know if I'm just going to push these out. I have new shocks on the way. They're not here yet. I don't know if I'm going to push these out or try to drill them or what. We'll deal with that when the time comes. For right now, I'm going to drop this, put you guys up on a time lapse, and get to work grinding and cutting and making the sparks and doing all the cool reality TV stuff that everybody loves to watch. Alright, so as you can see, there were more setbacks. These holes in the frame were apparently not perfectly in line, so I had to go get my die grinder, and then I had to rebuild my die grinder in the middle of all this nonsense. Now I gotta tap these in because I want to make sure that they're at least square and on the right plane. The only way I want the shock moving is up and down like this. I don't want it to have to go like that, or you know what I mean. So I want these square and with the right stick out to what they need to be before I tack them in. And I'm going to tack them in because there's a little bit sticking out in the back. Plus I just want to tack them for right now until I, you know, get in here and get to hacking the rest of the stuff off. So I'm just going to tack them for now. Probably a nice heavy tack, but like I said, you can't let this stuff discourage you. It's going to happen. This is not reality TV, so this is life. This is new to motorcycles, but you know, this is exactly what happens in building cars is, you know, everything costs more than you think it's gonna and takes longer than you think it's gonna, and it's just the way it is. Alright, so I got these squared up. I threw a couple heavy tacks on them. As you see, I had to ride the struggle bus, working with my welder, trying to get the, I needed a new tip on it. And, you know, like I said, these are the things that happen. You can't let them get you down. So this one is definitely sticking out quite a bit, and I'm going to come in there and just cut it off where it's at. This one I'm probably going to leave like that. But I'll do that later. And right now I have to run an errand, so we'll be back shortly. So after probably an hour and a half of grinding and cutting, I'm left with this, which this is a rough mock-up. It looks like my tire's really far out, which is kind of cool. It makes it like a hill climber. But, yeah, I don't know. Because I don't know where my new... the one I'm looking at on eBay is 22 inches long. This one's also 22 inches long. So I think it'll work just like this, but I don't know. Because I don't have a tank yet. So the tank's going to dictate everything coming back. I think I'm going to cut all the way up to here and then fit my new hoop to the seat and then probably try to pie cut this and close it up some kind of artful way. A lot of people just leave them open on the end like that, and I don't really like that. Yeah, you can't see it when it's on the bike, and yeah, it looks cool on Instagram, but I don't know. Also, I got to get some more of these brackets off and stuff. I don't know for sure what I'm going to use and what I'm not going to use. So, I'm taking the ones off that I'm for sure not going to use, like all the factory battery box stuff, all the factory wiring stuff. I'm going to do like everybody else and build a box right here. It seems like I have a lot more room than most people do that build these bikes, so probably because it's an 1100, I guess. You know, I don't know. I never looked up the frame dimensions, but there's just a massive amount of space here. There's a huge amount of space here. That tire is going to come up quite a bit with shocks on it, but yeah, we'll see. Some of this wiring still got to go away. That's my Kickstarter switch. It's not going back on, but we'll keep plugging along at it, and I'll keep uploading videos, and I hope you guys keep watching and liking and sharing and, you know, telling your friends. And it's my first motorcycle, so, you know, I'm having a good time. I hope you guys are too. Until next time, this is JR with the Driveway Engineer, and we will see you.